Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where the same situation lies for our last video. There's been an international break, there's been an old firm game. We've come back to for that international break and we're still in a seriously bad state. Another loss at home to Hearts at the weekend, which was no fault of Hearts. Hearts played really well, game plan executed it, but we just, for whatever reason, and I think the reason staring you on the screen at the moment cannot play football. The players just don't seem they don't seem in it. They don't seem like they care enough. They don't seem like they know what they're doing. And the
Do
guy for the sidelines doesn't really give you much hope.
you know what you do in that situation, mate? You take them to Loch Lomond. You say, boys, get in the bus. Let's go to Loch Lomond and get in the water. That's what you do in that situation.
That's what you would
Um,
do when your P7 class wasn't getting along.
uh,
You would do that kind of thing. But aye, that's again we'll get into it. There's a lot to probably grumble about here, but it just feels like the breaking point. Really, it feels like we've kept on going on and on about this since maybe the start of the season, and you could probably list off from the start of the season, from the two Club Brugge games for the league games already so far. There is multiple points where he could have been sacked, and he's still here. Like, he's literally still here. He's it's just a joke at this point. It feels like we're a social experiment waiting to see how much human beings can actually take. Because there's no reason why this can keep continuing. But as we'll get into it, if you could share your thoughts with us and like, subscribe, and share, as always, that's appreciated. But obviously, the Hearts game is where we'll start on first. Right after the international break, obviously, transfer window's been shut. A couple of players left, Dessers and so on. We've got Yusuf Sharmati and Derek Cornelius in on the deadline. Raskin stays, and Raskin still doesn't play as well, which is kind of compiling the issues up for Russell Martin, really. I think if you resolve those Raskin issues, if you come into this game on Saturday with that not lying over your head, then the atmosphere can tend to look a lot different. But that wasn't to be. He put out the same team that started against Celtic. Obviously, we watched that Celtic game together. I thought at the time, aye, decent enough performance, decent enough shown for where we have been, but a game that again at home we should be winning. And we had no shots on target. Again, very similarly here, there was no life in this team. There was 5 shots on target, I believe. The second half was definitely a little better, probably because it had to be. But the first half showing again is just abysmal for the same team that started against Celtic. The ideas just aren't getting translated onto that pitch.
they're not, and they're not going to get translated at all because these players are like us. They're past it. They're over it. It should be done. The fact is, you said he's still here is I really just don't understand what they're thinking. You knew with these games coming up, they were massive games. The cup quarter final, you've got Hearts at home who have been flying at the moment. You knew these were massive games, a chance maybe to get it going, bring somebody else in and do something else. But no, we're going to persist with this guy. And I tell you right now, I wasn't shocked that Hearts won this game. I fancied Hearts for the start. And as you say, you touched on the Old Firm game. That was another one where it wasn't the best personally for me. But it's just I mean, you obviously you were there. You were at the game, mate, and the atmosphere was toxic, have you? But it felt like just watching it from home, like that was just waiting for like one wrong pass, one run, something to go wrong, so that we could all just let him know what we actually think of him. And he deserves it. I'm being honest with you, he deserves it. He's one of the most arrogant people I've seen in football. He acts like he's actually done something in the game. You've been an okay manager in English football at not the top level, definitely not the top level, because you had one of the worst seasons ever in the Premier League, in the Championship and in League One. You've been okay there. This is different, mate. This is Glasgow Rangers. We are massive. You know what I mean? It's not Leicester City, any other job you could have taken where you're going to get time. You're not going to get time here, mate. Two losses, the pressure's on you straight away. Do you know what I mean? Even one loss, the pressure's on. You have to be able to go in. This guy's not got it about him, as I say. He's a coward. I said that to you. He's a coward. He can't take responsibility and just say, it's on me, it's my fault that I'm not getting the best out of these players. He wants to constantly yap on about training and how, but in training it's brilliant, it's great. Talking about the anxiety of playing. at home and what have you. It's just a load. I'm not having it. You want to talk about your modern day sports thing and all this kind of stuff, and we're not seeing the ideas and all this kind of stuff. I just can't have it, mate. The 90 minutes is what we need to see to let us know what's going on. And what we're seeing is this isn't working. It was never going to work. It can come out and he can say, "Oh, the fans never wanted me." He always deflects. He always tries to find a way to pick something instead of, as I say, taking accountability and being responsible. That's not a manager. That's not somebody that's going to go in the game and go on far for me personally.
No, that's always, as you say, you've kind of hit every point that we wanted to talk about in the opening here.
Aye.
It's a guy that's ego is just got the better of him, really. You see this team really uncomfortable playing out for the back and playing whatever they're trying to play. Doesn't try to adapt, just doesn't try to change it, doesn't try to adapt to the players' abilities as well. And I think it's an easy thing for a manager to come out and say, "Oh, well, it's a different team in training," because the fans they aren't seeing training. We're seeing the 90 minutes and whatever's happening in training, like who cares? The 90 minutes of work is what you're working towards at the end of the week. It's not, oh, training's good, but the game can be shite, because that's kind of what he's coming out and saying. The guy is just he's speaking pure waffle. And the team that he obviously started was the one that played against Celtic. For some reason, Jedi Gisama's out on the right hand side for no reason. Mikey Moore at the moment should be coming into games about 60, 70 minutes to try and build himself up as a first team player, not starting games like this. And you could clearly see it's already ruined him. Mm.
I mean, mate, he's just sorry, mate. That was my screen there
My no,
froze.
my PC froze as well.
Right, sorry, mate. I no, listen. Look, I've been saying it. Finlay Curtis should be in there ahead of him for me personally. I mean, Curtis is coming on. He's getting goals to save you a draw, and he looks all right enough. I just the wee boy doesn't
That's the
look
thing.
at it.
Where's Finlay Curtis been? Like
You
you've had
know,
a couple of
on the
games
bench
under
yet
him.
again. I mean, the big thing for me, I have to hang me is the back line here. I can't watch these two play centre half with each other here. You need to put, as much as I dislike Shooter, you need to be throwing Shooter in there with that Canadian boy, because that other boy, I swear I'm going to have a heart attack every time he touches the ball. He gives me
And again, that
honestly.
is somebody that doesn't have the ability at the moment to play the way that he's playing. So just let him play like a defender. That's what I
I
get.
mean,
He's not a bad player. I'm telling you, none of these
uh,
players are that bad.
yeah, I think he's pretty bad, mate. I'm being honest with you. I think he's shocking. I don't think he has any awareness around him whatsoever. I can hang with Asgard and the other one or two of the boys, but I think he scares me every time he's on the ball. He's a heart attack, mate.
But for me, the way you look at the centre halves and they're playing, it doesn't look like anybody's comfortable in making that forward pass at the moment. It doesn't feel like the
Well,
quality's
not
been
because
up to part for a guy to break lines or anything like that. And I do feel
the thing
sorry
about it,
for Giga, because I feel like he's just one of those powerhouse centre halves that you can just ask him to head the ball out. He's got a bit of pace. He can
he's
catch up with defenders. I just don't feel like we're playing to
he's
anybody's
just
strengths really, and it's not only him. I look at Diomande. I look at Connor Barn trying to do a bit too much. I look at Tavernier. I look at Asgard, Miofsky. None of these players are playing to any ability that they're capable of. And I did feel quite sorry for Mikey Moore as well, because again, as I say, should be coming into games and building himself up. He had three players around him immediately, and that was the only route we kept on going in that first half. And the first half was just appalling in its own right.
like every game under Martin, it's been shambolic. As I say, mate, I just there's only so many times I can watch these two pass it back to each other and shirk responsibility. The amount of times Suter takes one of the big long runs and it ends up with nothing, and then he's having to track all the way back. Do you know what I mean? I'm just that's as I said to you, you're not serious if half your backline's loan deals and players out of contract. You're
Well,
not going
that's
to win
it.
the league. That's no
That's it.
serious to me.
Nah,
That's
that's where
serious
there's been a
whatsoever.
big blunder. There's had to been major money spent on guys and men really in that back line to play for Rangers. And I feel like Cornelius will add to that. I think he looks like the
I
makings
felt
of a
so.
leader at the back. You really hope so, as you say
I
now. But
felt so bad for
um,
him, mate. Like, coming on second half, you chuck him in second half. Like, what a way to make your debut. You know what I mean? Getting chucked in like that.
no, no, no. It's just again the Russell Martin way. He should have probably started the game after having a good spell with Canada. Put him in right next to Suter. Let that be your two starting centre halves. But of course, it wouldn't be a Rangers game without any controversy in the pitch as well. Hearts do go 1-0 up through a Shankland handball in the build up to the goal. He admitted it himself, Lon Shankland. The ref watch on Sky Sports today also confirmed that it probably shouldn't have stood. But that goal did eventually stand after a VAR check. It was given, and then that sent Ibrox and the fans into voice with a certain Russell Martin get to fill in the blank. Aye, and it was in unison as well. It was the full ground. I've not seen something like that directed towards one person, especially on your side as well. That's been that loud, and that was very telling for me. And he had to feel uncomfortable in that moment. He have to like that's just sheer
Come
abuse that
on.
the fans are shouting. Everybody is getting their point across, and I feel that the boardroom are there. They're seeing that, and I don't know how by that turn of that game in Saturday night you can't be giving him his jotters personally, because that was as poisonous as I've seen anything at Ibrox. But aye, of course they go 1-0 up, booed off the pitch at half time again. As I say, start a bit better in the second half. Do score a goal that again probably should have stood. There's not real any contact on the goalie, but you know what goalies are like, always protected. And that one's ruled out. And then Hearts weren't really in the game in the second half, but get a penalty. Again, very soft. All decisions going against us, and it's just one of those days. And the Ibrox crowd once again chanting for Martin to get out. So it's one of those days. You look at the stats as well. That doesn't really look to me as a home team that's really pushing to win this game at home. 5 shots on target, but what Russell Martin
But
and co want is a lot of the possession, a lot of the passes, and nothing really forward thinking. It's just that a terrible state to be in.
it's no football at all. That's not, I don't care how much. I want to win the game, mate. As I say, stop. Why do you keep going on about training? You know what I mean? You're not going to win the Champions League final in training, mate. You're going to, full 90 minutes, play an actual professional game. It's just, I'm done with it, man. And as I say, the fact they never sacked him after this game, it just tells you everything, really. You know what I mean? You keep backing this guy, we're going to be in a hell of a lot worse position. I don't see us beating Hibs. Livingston
Well,
away, I can't
well,
see
that's
us
it. The
really
boards are
getting on.
playing with fire now, really,
Yeah.
because what does it take? Does it not take 5-0 down at half time to Club Brugge? Does it not take no shots on target against Celtic at home? Does it not take drawing your opening league match and getting battered in the process, where Motherwell probably should have won the game, and then every other league game that's followed? I mean, like, what does it actually take? Like, why is it taking another further loss when you really just could cut the cord? See, when we were 3-0 down to Club Brugge in 20 minutes at Ibrox, that should have been when he got sacked after that game. Because I don't believe these players go over to Club Brugge and get beat as embarrassingly as they do under somebody else. Um, and
Shut
they've had plenty of opportunities to do it. They don't seem to want to do it. We all woke up on Sunday thinking, right, give us a bit of good news and let us have some hope again for this season while we still can have hope. Um, as it is still so early in the season. But Chris Jack, of course, the Grim Reaper, coming out and telling us all the bad news. Russell Martin stays with the supported Rangers board. And even after his comments after the game towards Full Lads Had a Dream, Heart and Hand podcast again, fan media pages that are really speaking up for the fans and in that room really grilling him. I thought it was a really
Yeah.
eye opening watch to basically listen to him. Those are fans that are doing the same thing as we're doing, getting the opportunity to really tell them how they think it's going. And he had no answer for it. He really did have no answer for it. It was all again ego
Great.
and just
He was just very,
arrogance, really.
the arrogance, the aggression, the way to be like, just don't like the guy's attitude, as I say, whatsoever. It's not a top manager's attitude for me personally. It's not some. I mean, as we said, like even Clement would come out and go, "That was on me. That's not on the play. That was on me today, or whatever." You just want your manager to take a wee bit of accountability and say, "Look, it's no working. It's on me. I need to find new ways to adapt and to change it about." Because this whole past, it's just as I said, it was never going to work. It's never going to work here. It's you think of some of the places you need to go away from home and all that. You're not going to be doing that away from home. You kidding me on? And as I say, his attitude. He just screams a dickhead to me. Do you know what I mean? The way you take your
That's
vegan sausage away and do you know what I mean?
that's
I mean that
that's actually I just don't like the guy. I think that's the biggest
that's
thing.
it's such to me. Like see, taking obviously the day and all that and the stuff we're saying, and we're all getting a good laugh maybe on Twitter and whatever. Who thinks? Do you know what we get battered? There off Hearts and all that, and it's been a disaster so far. Do you know what we're going to do, boys? We're going to go to Loch Lomond. We're going to go for a swim just to try and cure that anxiety playing at Ibrox. Who thinks of that? I just.
Telling you this will go down in Rangers folklore forever. Once we are by this, which hopefully isn't too soon, this will be something we look back on and we just giggle about because what the fuck do you mean you're going to take the Rangers team up to Loch Lomond for a swim and a bonding session? How about we actually go on the pitch and learn how to play football for a start? That'd be great.
But you know, sir,
And again, even those comments that he said, like with the anxiety stuff and all that, like he's again throwing the players under the bus when his tactics aren't working. He's not taking any
if they,
accountability for the fact that we're playing so poorly.
the fans, the board saying, I'm going to continuously, I'll work until I'm told not to. Fans, board, and these players, he throws everybody else under the bus. It's everybody else's fault, but Russell Martin's fault that it didn't turn out, it didn't work well. Well, Russell, I think you need to look in the mirror and take a hard look at yourself, mate, because it's all on you, mate. You know what I mean? Obviously, the players when the 90 minutes are there, on them to step up and play. Is I actually thought Tavernier spoke well in his post thing, mate. Do you know what I mean? Number one, you're playing for the jersey, so it's on you to play for that jersey. But at the end of the day, man, I'd be the same. You look over at
Mhm.
him, I'm not playing for you. As I say, you can understand if it was a Gerrard or or as I say, even a Ferguson. There's a respect level there because they're actual winners and they've actually won stuff in the game. I go back to it all the time. What did Russell Martin do? But score own goals for Scotland. Came up here and had a duddy a season and was a bang average for Norwich. You know what I mean? And
He's going to be one of the first players of all time, or first people of all time, sorry, that's going to be a terrible player and a terrible manager for Rangers. Like, as much as we didn't want to look into that, the fact that he was a player here and was so poorly as well already hung that kind of, why are we doing this kind of thing on top of your head. And aye, that's exactly what it is. It's just he doesn't want to change his ways, and that's the kind of embarrassing thing about the way football is now with some of these kind of super coaches that just don't want to play football anymore. They just want to pass it about and just want to be boring to watch, and it's a stupid way to think, really. But aye, we all got that terrible news, of course, and this just came out about half an hour ago for the Union Bears, basically criticising Russell Martin, saying they want the removal of him, they want the removal of the CEO Patrick Stewart, because this is going to be the exact same situation that we're in with Clermont, where we get beat off Queens Park. It was an embarrassing home result. People and fans made their mind up at that game. They backed him. There was another poor result, and he sacked him. So it's just going to be the exact same thing here. Patrick Stewart said and put on record that it can't be sacking managers constantly, but he's picked the wrong guy again. So there's just no real any way around it. Patrick Stewart has to leave as well as Russell Martin at this point, and we have to rebuild again. As sad and as hard as that is to
this is
do
supposed
every
to be.
single year, we have to get the right people in the right positions to actually move forward here. And Patrick Stewart, I think you could tell for the moment you saw the guy, he's just an absolute goblin.
I mean, I mean, not even that, just the failure at Man United as well. And I'm even going for Kevin thing with what's his name. I'm going for him as
Kevin
well. I'm sort of
Thelwell is, I know, of course.
that interview to me that he done. Obviously, fair play. You done the interview, and whatever. You were clear in telling us that the club understood the left back position was a critical area where they had to recruit well. It's not been recruited well at all, really, is it? You turned around, you said you're relying on this Canadian boy to play centre half and left back. Deal Mandy to come in can do a job there. Tav and Aarons can switch over. I bet you just get somebody that can play left back there. You know what I mean? Just play there full season. They're bringing this wee boy in, relying on him full season. I mean, come on.
It's
And then
daft.
you
It's just like we've banked about 10 million for the left backs that we sold, and we get a Magoma on loan. And to be fair, Magoma's looked all right
it looks
compared
all
to the
right, but
rest of them, but he is not a guy that
you
has to
can't
play
rely
out
on
the
him.
full season.
No, you can't rely on him to play the full season there. Again, I go to his interview where he talked about the reason why they recruited heavily in the English market compared to going around Europe and scouting and all that. I mean, a load of nonsense really there. What are the people who are already been employed at the club doing then? What are they doing? They're just sitting on their arse all day, be getting out there and looking and scouring Europe. You know what I mean? We look at some of the exciting links that we're always linked with, but that we never get, and then they go on and they do really well in the game. I'm tired of it. Do you know
Well,
what I mean? But we'll
I saw one. I saw one earlier the day. A player called Yan Diomande was on loan at not on loan. Sorry, he was on trial at Rangers in 2023. He's an Ivory Coast striker. Basically, he was on trial at Rangers. Rangers offered him a contract. Again, we whatever happened with that happened, and now he's at RB Leipzig and worth 20 million. So again, it just always seems to be these ones
you
that slip
just.
under the radar for us, and the youth team doesn't really have a
I
pathway
mean,
anyway.
it's to me it just screams dodgy businessmen, doesn't it? Really, to me, guys that just have never been good at their job and they're just I slid them in because they've been at Premier League level, they've been at Man United, or they've been at that kind of. You think they're going to come here and recruit any better?
That's the
Absolutely
thing.
not.
A bin file at Man United and appointing a guy that's going to be the CEO to run the daily workings of Rangers Football Club is a massive L. Kevin Thelwell has just already been a massive L, and Dan Purdy, his other wee scout boy for Everton, has been a massive L so far because we've not really seen the credentials to kind of back up what they're doing. And Kevin Thelwell's interview, again, I liked some of the points that he made, some of the points I could heavily criticise, but one of the points that we can't gloss over is his support for Russell Martin. That, again, he'll have to go and backtrack on because this is not going to end well for all of these guys. It's now where we had new owners and we were all kind of happy about that. But they need to come out and speak as well. We need to hear from Parag and we need to hear from Andrew Kavanagh to see what we're actually like doing here. There's, as we said at the top of the episode, there's been many times we could have sacked this
And
guy. Saturday was the perfect time to do it. So why did they continue?
international, if we're all honest, I say after Celtic game was a perfect proper time to do it. But you go watch their interviews again, as I say. And I go back to also when he get announced in that press on Kevin Hingle was on about like, oh, there was a lot of positives as well in his season with Southampton because of possession stats and all this. Throwing fuck, get the fuck with that, you know what I mean? And as I say, you go to Prague as well as when he was interviewed and all that, and he was, oh, he's our former Rangers man. You're like, "Ah, he's not really a proper former Rangers man, mate. He came here, he sunk up the joint, went back down south. You definitely need to hear for these guys. And I mean, it's all right to sit there, as I say, with Leeds and talk about you want to win and you want to do that with Leeds. Leeds aren't expected really proper to do anything this season. Do you know what I mean? But stay in the league. Up here, we have to win the league. You know what I mean? We weren't. I don't think any Rangers fan really when we get Martin straight away was thinking right. That's us. We're going to win the league. But we understood we hit. This is the time now because Celtic are on a decline. It's a time for us to go forward and actually push them this season proper. But it looks like out of all the teams, it's going to be Hearts. And if they laughed at that guy that flew down at Brighton and all that, talking about how they were going to push and actually compete and try and do it, well, listen, they might actually do it because they look like a well solid team, drilled really well, experienced players in there, some good young exciting ones as well. I wouldn't write them off. Also, it's a long season ahead and what have you, but this for us, this can't continue. And as I say, with that backline, we were never serious for the get go. With loans and players
No.
leaving, there's no commitment there whatsoever. It tells you everything.
Yeah, I think that was again, as you go back to it, it's just one of those situations in the team that even if Russell Martin is your coach, you want a bit of security at the back line there, and I don't feel like that's been achieved this window. And I think it's been, on the whole, we've seen some, again, as I say, there's some decent players in the building. We've still really to see
Yeah.
the full potentially, but um, it's not going to happen under Russell Martin. Let's be quite honest. It's not going to end well. So, Saturday's game against Hibs is the next one on the horizon. As you see at the bottom of the post there, a series of protest actions have already been planned by the Union Bears, and they're willing to make them apparent ahead of the Saturday game. In the Saturday game, unless changes are made, and everybody, I guess, will know about that if they're attending the match. But I urge everybody that's even bought a ticket not to go. When you think about it, the ticket was 27 quid. If your 27 quid goes to getting Russell Martin removed as the manager, that's a very small contribution for you to do. And I wouldn't openly come on here and tell nobody to go to Rangers games ever, but I'm not going to go. I've paid the money. I won't go. I cannot sit there and withstand what is just absolute, like, it's just football. I don't even, it's just horrible to watch. And it feels like we're another defeat on the horizon. And again, these new guys in this boardroom need to understand as well that this won't just be money in their pockets all the time. When the going gets tough, they will notice it, and that stadium should be empty. And again, I just urge everybody to kind of follow in that protest. Really, don't go to the game and show the support the board, sorry, the empty seats, because the supporters really are the lifeblood of this club, and it doesn't really feel that we're being listened to at the moment. You see 50,000 fans at that game screaming for him to go out, and he's still retaining the support of the board. That should be times up. That should be him getting his payout and leaving the club. And aye, it's just simple that that has to happen. Russell Martin cannot sit on the sidelines anymore, and
No,
he has to be removed from his position. But I think one of the things that we'll go to while we're still on the topic of the board and stuff is this is the statement that you can go back and onto Rangers website and grab. This is the snippet from Kevin Thelwell on Russell Martin. His teams play dominant football. I've not seen one single excerpt of that yet. They control the ball. I've never seen us look less in control of the ball ever. We've not dictated the tempo at any games. We look weak physically. We don't press and we don't work off the ball. So, like, how good was his PowerPoint presentation? Because there is not one single time that we've ever shown any of those characteristics in any game we've played so far. I mean, you were
no,
obviously at the Pilsen game. I've probably missed the only game that we actually looked all right in, but even
aye.
that wasn't all free flowing as well.
No, no, it wasn't, mate. And yet we're the opposite of Everton, aren't we? We're
Just easy to get
so
it. Well, just easy
he's
for
got.
Hearts to kind of get all over the toppy.
I always think you see the clip for Mourinho with the Spurs documentary where he's having a go at him, just going like that, just through the motions. That's what it is with us. We're just going through the motions. Do you know what I mean? Nobody cares, man. You can tell these players they have no idea what they're doing. They're not really arsed if they're honest with themselves. Um,
But I
and
think
I
it
just
as well. See if you see that coming for the fan base as well at the game. I get it. You're playing for Rangers at the end of the day. It should be more than that. But if you don't believe in the guy in the sidelines as well, it's just
it's
a
hard, man.
dangerous cycle.
You're telling me, as we've talked about right on and off this podcast, you're telling me if you had somebody, as I say, I'll just use them for example. If you had a Steven Gerrard, you're telling me these lads aren't getting everything they've got to get the 3 points. Come on, you know what I mean? As I say, even if we all dream of having Jose Mourinho, you know what I mean? Shows you've actually got the money, go and get Mourinho. You're telling me even with somebody like that, these lads wouldn't they
I think
just
that's what we need next is somebody that is well respected in the game, somebody that can instantly get the respect of the players and the fans, and just an appointment that can really galvanise the support again. Because there was a lot of positivity going into this season. The new owners and stuff like that, the money that was going to be spent, the money that has been spent as well. That's something we can't gloss over. This is like a £30 million squad that we've built here, as well. So there's no hiding for Russell Martin compared to some other managers where you could throw them a bit of slack for the money he spent and stuff. Um, but they need to go and get somebody that's in the same ilk as a Jose Mourinho, a Steven Gerrard, somebody that will instantly captivate the support and have the full backing of that. You can't go and get another Russell Martin type where people are like
you need a
huffing,
winner.
humming and
Mate,
hawing and not kind of asked about it.
it's as simple as that. You need a winner. You need a guy who, if he
And
says Nico
aye,
Baston's no in the team, you understand why, because he's won trophies and he's been at a big time. Or he's
mhm.
been there, he's been in that environment. For me, you need an absolute winner. And you could understand somebody like Russell Martin telling me Nico Raskin isn't good enough for this, and just away you go, man. And I wonder what Nico Raskin was thinking when all the fans were chanting his name and he's sitting there watching that, and he must think to himself, look, you've made a right plonker of yourself here, mate. Because
Well, that's
he
it.
has to and say to us, look, what's the deal with asking? Why are you not playing this guy? Because on his day, he's the best player at the club. So why are you not playing him?
Well, I think we'll see. Or if he still remains into that press conference on Friday, I think we'll see probably a bit more, and we'll maybe see the door opened a wee bit because he knows it's close to him getting the boot. And I think he'll try and put Raskin in the team as well on Saturday to try and
Just to,
appease the fan base as well.
you should have done that at the weekend there, but to make
Exactly.
fans believe, right, maybe that's it. That's that done with the two of them. It's like,
Yeah.
just play him. Just play him regardless. He's still one of your better players in your team. I just don't understand why you wouldn't play one of your better players who can help the team. At the end of the
Because
day, it's about the team.
that's just the ego. That's just him thinking he's better than everybody. And this is just a example of what we're dealing with here. Every club he's been at, that is statements of the same thing. Anxiety, 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 anxiety. Nothing to do with his tactics and the way he wants to play, and the players getting uncomfortable and maybe not liking him. Like this is what we're dealing with again at Rangers, and this was probably all open for the guys to do their due diligence on when they were appointing him. And Rangers fans have been able to dig this up in like the last couple of days. Like, come on here, we've spent
Listen,
five interviews with this guy and chose him. Like, come on.
see, as I say, you look at the league table as well. That is,
Well, that's
I
something
mean,
else to comment on. I believe that we play when by the time we play our next league game, obviously because we're in the cup. Aberdeen, Dundee United. If results go their way, we could be going into that game bottom of the league.
I mean, and that he's still no sacked. Like he's still
Well,
no
no, but
sacked.
that's probably the perfect way to end on. What are the standards? Because I remember Michael Beale was sacked for losing 3-1 at home to Aberdeen after a couple of players get sent off. It was just a disaster. We slipped about 6 points behind Celtic at that point, and that was enough to sack him. Gio, again, pretty similar, kept slipping behind Celtic. That was enough to sack him. But, I mean, being 10th in the league and not winning any of your opening 5 games apparently isn't enough anymore. So
What
I'm
are
sorry, but
the
all of those interviews where it's like we need to win and all that, they just seem like absolute bullshit to me, really. I don't feel that these guys have came in and really understood what this is. They've treated this as if it's like another side project that'll work down in England. They've not actually bought into the culture and the environment and the fan base that Rangers have, because it's a hard fan base to play for when you're the going stuff, but it's such a beautiful club to play for when everyone's going in the right direction. And they've not been able to see that yet because they've constantly underestimated what Rangers is. And Patrick Stewart, for sure, has underestimated that. He's been here over a year now, and he still can't seem to muster up the
they all
ideas to what Rangers is. So
they all need to go, mate. It's as simple as that. All three of them need to go and need to be replaced. We need interviews. We need to hear why this guy's been kept for as long as it is. Ego is such a thing where it's just a terrible thing. You know what I mean? Businessmen with their egos and what have you, they don't want to be proven wrong. You've been proven wrong here. The guy that came in with the best PowerPoints wasn't good enough for the job. You think about the excitement we all had when the takeover happened and the players we were linked with, the coaches we were linked with. You know what I mean? And Ancelotti, and you're looking at it now and you're thinking, everyone knew that that was kind of maybe the clear option there. I felt like, right, there's a guy where it's his first potential hang me, the links
and I
maybe to
feel like
Madrid
with his name and everything, you get behind him, aye.
behind them. Whereas they went, no, guys, forget that. We're going to go with a guy who
That's
is
probably why
absolutely.
we did feel like that eventually when the appointment was made. It felt like such a kick in the balls to where we should have been.
How many times has that happened? How many times has that happened? But with the board previous and obviously right now with this board, where they don't listen to the fan base. Listen to your fan base. You know what I mean? We are the club. Listen to us. We know what we're talking about. We're not just all, you know
But
what I mean?
look
We're
at
not
it. Any person that's been watching this podcast, other Rangers podcasts on Twitter, whatever, they all made very valid arguments to why this wouldn't work, and the way it's played out have shown that everybody that's connected with Rangers was right. Um, and we've been here for long enough to know what won't work and what probably will work at this point. And as I say, we need a strong manager to come in and deal with this because he's leaving. He's leaving behind a good team. Let's be honest. There's good players in there that you can work with. Still maybe needs a couple of windows to get it to where it has to be. But a manager that actually is a football manager can get a lot more out of this squad than what's currently being served up. We need answers this week before this game on Saturday. If they want the risk of that being empty, then hell mend them. But
it
nah,
has to be empty, man. Nobody can do this anymore. Do you know what I mean? Not a single person can do this anymore. If there's people at that game, man, as I say, they're the ones for me that are everything wrong with the club. You can't, £27, you know what I mean? Can easily go and give that to charity, do whatever or whatever. Yeah. Obviously, you've paid your ticket and whatever, but come on, 27 to no go and watch this.
exactly. Again, as I say, if you've paid the money and stuff like that, aye, it's a lot of money for some people. It's
No,
a
it's
lot of
another
money for
thing.
everybody. But if
Absolutely,
you want
100% a lot of
change,
money, but
it's
if you
it's,
want change,
it's something.
this is the way. You look at, hate to mention, obviously they did their thing, was it 12 minute of the game or whatever? The
Well,
Kilmarnock
look at
game
it.
there.
Celtic know they're not going to. They don't feel comfortable on top. Immediately they protest. Immediately they want answers. Why can we never do that? Why are we always shite scared to do anything?
To stand up and actually think, as I say as well, you think about obviously Europa League games coming up. Any other time you would be so confident that we would have a chance to, I would say, maybe rattle most of the games. Under this guy, I think we'd be lucky to win two, man.
We'd be lucky to even get a shot on target at this point. Let's be honest. That's where we are. That's where we're at. We're playing horrible football under a horrible manager. And it's just a horrible club at the moment, where nothing is going right, and the same mistakes seem to keep getting made. But this is going to be a big rest of the week to find out what's going to happen. To find out, hopefully, for some board members, if they want to speak to us, what's going to be the plan. Because, in my opinion, if he gets to Saturday, he's not going to beat Hibs, right? So we're out the cup. We're gambling with another trophy already early on this season, and we shouldn't be in that situation. It's as simple as that. But aye, that's kind of where we are at the moment. It's just sheer negativity, it's sheer negligence.
But
It's Everton
so the same as last year as well, mate. Basically, you know what I mean? Fuck
in the
me.
year in the year before that, and the year before that. It's just constant. It feels like the last time Rangers were good was we were like 18 or something. It's aye, it's
Mental, mate.
bullshit. And aye, it just has to change, and that is the message. This photo is the message. Patrick Stewart, Russell Martin, Kevin Thirlwell, all these guys, they need to answer for what this mess is, and they need to leave the club immediately. As simple as that. But aye, we'll be back next week covering that game on Saturday, and hopefully covering the fact that Russell Martin's no longer the Rangers manager. So we'll see you then.